gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saieed. We do want to thank you for joining us, viewers. It's another week in Trinidad and Tobago. So as we start our program tonight, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has announced that June 18th will be the mid-year budget debate, 2 days after the Finance Committee met to discuss the mid-year review. Persad-Bissessar said, the review will assist the government in managing the countries up to the end of the fiscal year and before the 2026 budget, sometime in September.
We are preparing for a midterm review in June. Remind me of the date, please. On about the 15th for the Standing Finance, 16th of June for Standing Finance Committee, and 18th for the budget debate, well, the mid-year review debate. That is a very important exercise because we have to find money, we have to shift money from one head to another head so that we can continue running the government until the end of the fiscal year. We will come back, of course, as usual, September, October for budget 2026.
The PM was also asked about addressing wage negotiation, particularly by the Public Service Association, PSA. That was promised a starting point of no less than 10%. Asked when negotiation with the PSA will begin, she said, as soon as we can. Kamala.
As soon as we can. I can't give you a date. No, I wouldn't give you a date because tomorrow you tell me I said the 10th and today is the 11th. So I will tell you as soon as we can. It is at the top of our burner. It is a high priority item. As soon as we can, we will begin.
So switching gears, viewers, Balize House was busy today as members of the People's National Movement filed a nomination to contest the party's internal election. 16 executive positions are up for election. PNM General Secretary Foster Cummins says, despite concerns raised by persons behind the faceless social media group, the Change Makers, the PNM electoral list is valid and the upcoming internal election will be fair and transparent.
And this list has been with us. Dates back to previous years of Dr. Williams, Mr. Manning, Mr. Chambers, Dr. Rowley. This list has been around for a while, and that is the only way to get on or off of it. This election, as all elections in the PNM, will be conducted free and fair and be supervised by the Independent Supervisory Committee.
So now, viewers, PNM members Karim Marcelli, Foster Cummins, Dr. Amy Brown, Marvin Gonzalez, and Dr. Nyan Gasby Dolly all worked with opposition leader Penelope Beckles-Robinson earlier today after they arrived to file nomination papers. Meanwhile, the People's National Movement, Tobago Council, closed nomination in 8 electoral districts, with 21 individuals filing to contest the upcoming Tobago House of Assembly, that's the THA, election under the party's banner. In a release issued earlier today, the party said these aspirants will now advance to the next stage of its internal process. Firstly, their respective district party group will review them, after which the PNM Screening Committee will select the final slate of candidates. Attorney at Law Sanjeev Boodoo, who filed his nomination paper for the opposition of the People's PNM Party election officer at the Balize House in Port of Spain earlier today. Internal election is about growing the party. He described the nomination process as flawless and time efficient. He explained why he chose to shoot his shot during this time. Listen to what he has to say.
I am of the view, as I said when I had my candidacy for general elections, I am of the view that young people need to step forward. It is about demonstrating your interest to serve in leadership roles. I don't see participating in internal elections as a combative process. I think it is part of growing within the party for younger ones to step forward and say, look, I'm interested in serving. Let me have the experience of service, learn from the ones who have served before, and see how best we together can continue building our party.
Now viewers, if elected, Bodu said his knowledge as an attorney could play a vital role within the People's National Movement Party.
Being an election officer, in my respectful view, is not limited to the operations that are required on election day. I think that there is a deeper need to understand at the party group level what are the operations that happen for an election, whether it is a local government election, a general election, or even an internal election. And I figure that if we are to educate our members, if we achieve educating our members on the legal issues that surround an election, the nomination day and the significance of all of that, all the steps in an election, I think that we will have a greater success.
Bodu was also chosen as a PNM's candidate for the Komoto Manzalana seat in the 2025 general election. So in case Ali didn't know, he went up as the MP for that area. Moving along now, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has doubled down once again on her plans to introduce stand-your-ground legislation and given better access to firearm users' license, FULs, despite criticism of the policy being shared in the public. The PM told the public that each person had a right to defend themselves. Listen to Kamala.
I see some people are saying we should not go that route of giving people who apply legal firearms. We campaigned on that. We got a special majority vote. That was one of the things we promised the electorate, and we will deliver. We will deliver. For those of you who are against that, to give legal firearms to law-abiding citizens, of course, with the checks and the balances, the answer is simple: do not apply. If you're against getting a firearm or giving a firearm, you have the option. It is your choice. Do not apply. But we will proceed with stand-your-ground legislation. We will proceed with giving legal firearms in, as I say, within a framework, because those were matters we promised the electorate. And those were some of the policy positions we took, which gave us the special majority in the parliament.
She also stated that the government and the police must work to ensure home invasion are stopped. Kamala.
Many victims of home invasion have written to me about their experiences. Most victims want to defend their families, but did not have the equal means to do so. In the first place, no one should be invading your home. The government, the judiciary, and police will ensure to work to put an end to home invasions. It is our duty. You know, the first job of any government is the protection of its citizens. We have failed miserably for almost a decade, and therefore we take certain measures. It is because we believe these will improve the safety and security of our citizens.
Now viewers, meanwhile, the Firearm Permit Unit of Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has since received a total of 58 applications in the month leading up to the 2025 general election. However, for the period immediately after and up to May 26, no application was submitted. From March 6 to March 31st, police officials said there were 41 applications, while from April 1st to 28, it rose to 58. Now, while he has since admitted to signing a couple of FULs, since assuming the post as Acting Commissioner of Police on February 6, Top Cup, Junior Benjamin, declined to disclose just how many he had granted. So Trinidad and Tobago, we had a lot of home invasion throughout the last months, throughout the last year. And people were demanding that TTPS step up. Because I believe last year, almost the whole of last year, 2024, we were only highlighting home invasion, home invasion, home invasion. How can we stop home invasion? How can we input fear into the criminals that is planning to raid somebody's house? Now, when a bandit comes into your home, he is not going to say, sir, can you tell me where the money is? Or madam, can you tell me where your jewelry is? I am not going to hurt you. No, they are not doing that. They're breaking down your door, gun butt on your head, mother and daughter, grandmother getting raped, ransacking your house, thieving your valuables, even your car, and they're leaving you. So how do we fend this? How do we fend them off? I have been saying for quite some time, if individuals of Trinidad and Tobago, homeowners, business owners, can get easy access to firearm. When I say easy access, I mean through the legitimate channels. Bandit will think twice to go in somebody's house. Trust me, because of the fact that they don't know who have firearm from who do not have firearm. And they know under the previous administration, Dr. Rowley said we are not going to turn Trinidad and Tobago into the Wild Wild West. But what he didn't know is that he created Trinidad and Tobago to be the Wild Wild West because there were more illegal firearms on the streets than licensed firearm in homeowners and businessmen hands. Around every corner in Trinidad, you could get a firearm. Once you had the money, you're getting it. It is that easy on the streets. It is that easy. Even the police officers know who the gun dealers are. Why am I saying that? Faris said how many gangs were there in Trinidad, knew how many gang members, and where the gang is located. Stuart Young knew the same thing. Hines knew the same thing. Erla knew the same thing. And yet, what did they do in their time? Just to satisfy the people of Trinidad and Tobago with ease on their head that they could go to sleep comfortable in the night. We were instilled with fear. Many people who didn't have burglar proof ended up putting burglar proof in their house. So it's like, you're in jail. Your own house has become a jail. Imagine that, eh? Imagine that. So, I would like to tell the President Administration, Kamala Prasad Business being the Prime Minister of the UNC administration, to hurry up and get it done. Also, I would like to tell Junior Benjamin, who said he has signed off on some FULs. My friend, I am definitely sure there is a lot of FULs on your desk to be signed. Sign it off and let the people have something to protect the wife, the daughter, the grandmother, the valuables in their house. Sign it off and give them. That is my thing. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, stand your ground legislation should only be applied inside the home. More on this when we return.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Real Talk viewers. Call good night.
Yes, I.
Go right ahead, my friend.
Yes, I. Concerning them loudly bad in the country, boy. You hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, it's loud bad in the country. Yes, bad things people what they want to start keeping the home, noise day and night. Kamala said she will do something. I want Kamala to do something bad for that time, boy. Okay?
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
As the government intends to bring stand your ground legislation to Parliament, Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisasa plans to follow the United States model. However, speaking at an interview, Criminal Bar Association Senior Counsel Israel Khan said adjustment must be made. Israel.
Must be adjusted in relation to Trinidad. Like if someone comes into your yard and someone goes on a Zabuka tree stealing Zabuka or Julie Mango, you're not entitled to kill that person. Even if that person is armed, unless the person is threatening you. If the person is threatening you on the outside your home, the ordinary law of self-defense would apply. That is my position and the Criminal Bar Association position.
Khan is of the view that the legislation should be only applied inside a home and said anything outside of that will not have the support of the Criminal Bar Association. Israel.
Once you enter that house, the owner or the occupant or anybody in that house is entitled to kill you, not in self-defense. They do not have to wait until you commit an offense, because you have come into that house to commit a criminal offense, and reasonable force would not obtain.
Although schools shooting are very rare, it's almost non-existent in Trinidad and Tobago. With the surge of FUL application, this is what the senior counsel had to say if such a situation was to occur in our nation's school. Listen to this. You'll love this one.
There must be stringent regulations and law. It must be suitable to own a firearm, and you have to have a firearm in a safe place. And if your children manage to get the gun and go out there and commit a criminal offense like shooting in a school and so on, you are criminally responsible. We don't have those type of laws here like in Texas and so on. In Texas, you have the right to own an arm.
Prasad Bisasa said the government was looking at stand your ground policies in places like Florida to build a policy for Trinidad and Tobago. She said that historically, the stand your ground laws were an evolution of my home is my castle law. But it's true, your home is your castle. Your home is your resting place. Your home is what you're working to build. Your home is for family. Your home is for your children. Your home is your comfort zone. After a long day, you go home. You ain't going to the neighbor house, you're going home. A home that you built to protect. So how it is now that somebody else could enter into your property without your consent, which means they are invading your privacy, your safe place, your castle, your comfort zone. Call a good night.
Pleasant good night, my lord. Side, how you going?
Go right ahead.
Yeah, boy, pray me, boy. I just got to beg you, brother, and I'm watching your program and listening to you, boy. Where you go to, boy? It's all kind of happening right now all over the world, brother. All kind of. We're the friend, just beg the Lord, and be safe, brother.
Thank you, my friend. You too.
Take care, brother. Yeah, man.
So Trinidad and Tobago, she wants to follow the model as the United States. Nothing wrong with that. Adapt, edit, evolve, and grow. That is what we do. Look, the Prime Minister bring yam from Ghana. They're planting yam in Ghana. So what he do? We bring down yam to Trinidad to plant also. We had a module, agriculture module in Trinidad and Tobago. Our former Prime Minister, let me just say this, when I say former Prime Minister, I just have to be careful, you know. Because we had Stuart Young for a month, and for 9 years, we had Keith Rowley. So when I say former, I just had to clarify them. Keith Rowley took our agriculture module that they couldn't get off the ground in Trinidad and Tobago, but wanted to carry it in Guyana to help them. What did Kazim have to say at that point in time? Who was the former agriculture minister? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. It's sad, you know. It's sad. Imagine you can't get agriculture off the ground here. You're going to carry it in our next country to get off the ground in them other country. And you are the Prime Minister down here. So sometimes I wonder, viewers, I really wonder, how are we to go forward? When we cannot get it right in our own country. When the heads cannot get it right. When the leaders, when those that we depend on to make it work, ain't working. Like Erla. Erla said, I did good. She did good. She was excellent. And all the plans that TTPS brought forward, it failed. But she was good. She was good. She admits she was good. Until look what happened to her. But nevertheless, there's a slang that we say in Trinidad and Tobago. Performance beat old talk. Performance beat old talk. But nevertheless, I wish Kamala the best in stand your ground legislations because we need it. Even though you had the fire shot in the air to scare off bandits. We need it. I just always tell people, jump my fence. You're going and meet God. I just always tell people that I'm not hesitating. I will put you down. And then the dogs in the yard will do the rest. Moving along, So Assistant Commissioner of Police and Head of the Central South Police Division, Wayne Meister, says, elderly people are being targeted for home invasion and is urging citizens to pay more attention to their vulnerable relatives. According to ACP Meister, while this type of crime is not usually directly carried out by criminals, elements live in close proximity to their victims. He warned that it is facilitated by people living nearby who observe and give information to their co-conspirators on the outside. Listen to this.
We have an issue of domestic murders, which we are looking at very closely. One of the initiatives that we would have engaged in that is that we would have, asked our police officers, as a matter of instruction, the police officers, to pay special attention, after a protection order is issued. It's not just issuing a protection order and, just allowing it to stay, but it's actually having the officers visit the victims and keep that constant communication with them to let them know that they are not alone in this activity. And that in itself brings about a sort of a prevention activity when the perpetrators are working on.
ACP Meister also noted that the intimate partner violence continue to be a challenge in the Southern Division. He assures, however, that police officers are taking measures to give an additional sense of safety to victims and their families. ACP Meister highlighted an initiative created to help victims in such circumstances. Listen to this.
Getting very, very intimate information and knowledge from persons who are living in the area. And there was the issue of targeting persons, elderly persons, because, you're observing the elderly persons and so on. And, as I said, elderly persons, we just want to make a call right now to, family members to pay attention to the elderly, visit them regularly and so on, because they are one of the persons, the target groups that those persons are actually going after.
Now, viewers, the senior cop reported that in 2024, there were 35 murders rising out of domestic violence, situation which 15 of those being in the South or the Southern Policing District. On June 4th, Minister of the People's Social Development and Family Service, Vandana Mohit, will reveal the challenges causing delays in processing applications for pension after she meets with stakeholders. A release from the ministry on May 28, she said it identified specific challenges related to the receiving of information from the National Insurance Board, which is the NIB, and the Immigration Division, which has affected the process of some application. She said 1,438 immigration inquiries and 2,292 NIB queries are pending further information for processing. What could take so long? Speaking at a post-cabinet media briefing on May 29, Minister Mohit plans to speak to representatives from the Ministry of Homeland Security and the Ministry of Finance to address the backlogs. Why are there backlogs? Listen to this.
I've sent letters to both ministers yesterday morning. We intend to meet on Wednesday of next week. to come up with a plan as soon as possible. I want to also inform you that these delays, when it comes to the senior citizens pension from NIB and immigration, it has resulted in some applicants waiting up to 2 years plus to know their fate about their senior citizens pension. In the coming weeks, as we meet, we will let you know more in terms of how we intend to roll out our action plan to ease the minds of our senior citizens.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, Mohit said, after meeting the ministry will take the decision on whether to continue with the current system or go back to the walk-in system that was used before. Mohit.
What I can share with you, it's an electronic system where the requests are placed by the Ministry of Social Development to these two entities, and it's just a waiting process. So I cannot speak to why NIB is not responding or immigration is not responding. Maybe it's because of their workload. All right, this is one of the things that was discussed when we met on this. So next week, Wednesday, we'll really know what's happening. And based on that, we'll decide whether we'll revert to the old system of the walk into the offices.
So Trinidad and Tobago, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the blind welfare and why is there a backlog in old age pension. We're going to discuss these two matters when we return.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
When life throws you a curveball You need a clear path forward. Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, Executive Officer of the Blind Welfare Association, Kenneth Surratt, is calling for expanded access to digital learning tool in schools. His request comes amid concerns about equitable access to education for students with disabilities. After Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisesa reiterated her government intention to move ahead with the laptop distribution plans for September, students going into Form 1 from September. Surratt, an advocate for people with disabilities and a long-time leader in the blind and visually impaired community, said special provisions should be made for students with visual impairment. In a letter addressing to the government officials, Surratt requested that devices provided to blind and visual impaired students include key assistive technologies to support their learning needs. He emphasized on the importance of including screen reader software such as NVDA or JAWS and support for Trinidad and Tobago. In her last cabinet briefing, the PM noted that there had been persons who are criticizing the program, but she said those people do not have to participate in this. Listen to Kamala.
There's some concern about the laptops. Again, we are in a democracy, and it is very simple. If you do not want a laptop, you don't have to take it. But we will be rolling out that program to give the laptops to students entering Form 1. Indeed, I'll call upon those persons who have concerns to send in to the Minister of Education that you do not want a laptop because you're concerned about the laptop, possible use or abuse of the laptop. You have a right. You don't have to take it when we go to schools to give them to the children.
So I have a question for Trinidad and Tobago. They say the PNM administration gave out 80,000 laptops. So the people who are complaining why Kamala is giving out laptops now, why didn't you tell the PNM administration do not give out laptops? Why didn't you say that when the PNM made an announcement to give out 80,000 laptops? Why you all didn't open your mouth? You all could have said something, but you didn't say anything. Administration change. UNC wants to give out laptop for those entering high school from September 2025 onwards. You all have a problem. But you all didn't have a problem when the PNM administration said they were going to give out 80,000 laptops. You didn't have that problem. Two-side tongue. So which side of the tongue it is really talk with? The top or the underneath part? Which one? Since you all are about two tongues, which side of the tongue it is used more on a daily basis? This is what I had to ask her. She also added, that the distribution of digital device, such as laptops and tablets, will not be determined via means tests, as she found that means tests to be very subjective. Listen to this.
I found the means test to be very subjective, and therefore I believe that each child is entitled to that opportunity, unless the parents don't want it. They are entitled to an equal opportunity for, in this age, this is the age of the technology, this is the age of the computer. Our children have been left in the dump for 10 years, 9 years when they killed that program. You know where we would have been today? Our children have been technicians, have been out there. I shared a story with you, People came up to me and said, listen, whatever name they call me, anti-cams, whatever it is. Look, they actually brought the laptop and showed me. We gave it to them in that time. I still have this laptop. Another one told me, look, I'm going to UE and I'm still using that laptop. So why not a means test? I find it to be exceedingly subjective in the responses. And do we leave it up to a subjective evaluator? Let's give everybody a chance. It's not going to cost us all the money in the bank.
So listen to this. The UNC Prime Minister, through the Ministry of Education, is going to give out laptops come September. And this is very simple. If you are against it, just do not put down your child name when time to collect a laptop. It's simple as that. It is very simple. Let your child be backward with technology. Nobody's forcing your child to learn computer. Nobody's forcing your child to take an education. That is entirely up to you. If you're a PNM and you feel that, hey, the UNC gave out a laptop and you think we are one on, don't put down your child's name. Don't. If you are a UNC and you feel like, hey, she shouldn't give out a laptop, do the same thing. Watch everybody else get it and just let your, hey, let me tell you something. Education is the key to a healthy lifestyle. Education is the key to a rich lifestyle. Education is the key to being a successful person. A successful person. Always remember Saieed Ali that. See where I am today? I have 2 financial complexes running. Real Talk Credit Union and Real Talk Financing. Because of what? Education. This is where I am today. My 2 sons, I don't play with their education. They have all the devices that they need to learn to go forward. We are not going backward. We are going forward. So if you as a parent don't want your child to be using a laptop that the present administration is giving out, do not go to the school and put down your child's name for a laptop. It's that simple. It's that simple. Call her good night.
Hi, good night, Saeed.
Go right
Good
ahead.
evening.
Same to you. Go right ahead, your life.
Concerning the laptop, right? I want to ask a question. Out of all the houses and the homes in Trinidad, I assume the majority has a laptop or computer home. The children them has a lot of PlayStation and all these kind of things. So why not have a child have the laptop? If it comes like this, if you don't eat pork and you don't want it, don't. If you want it, you take it. So if they don't want the laptop, say they don't want it. But there's a lot of parents have laptop and computer and human children use it. So why blank the child it? If you don't want it, you don't want it.
Yes.
Simple like that.
Simple.
Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. You see, I'll tell you something. Plenty of them, they are individuals, they are groups, they are people, they are administrations, there may be stakeholders who do not like what the present administration is doing. Let me tell you something. For 9 years, Trinidad and Tobago was standstill, no growth. None. We have a new government. who is laying out plans and actually going ahead with it, you will have a problem with that. You will have a problem with that. Why? If the Ministry of Education wants to give your child a laptop to make learning easier for your child, why are you against it? Tell me why. Explain to your child why you are against your child having a laptop to learn. Your head done hard. Your brain's like corrugated steel. It can't bend. So you want to carry your child down the same uneducated path you went? I'm just asking a question. Do you want to carry your child down the same uneducated path that you went? It goes to show that you're illiterate for even the education of your child. And that, it's stinking sad. Because first thing a parent going to say, well, if you're not educated, go and learn a trade. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. When I went to school, we have a call a good night.
Hi, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead, your life.
Right. Saeed, I just want to show you how much headache this government will have with all these kind of shenanigans. First, you don't want them with the firearms. And as the Prime Minister said, if you don't want to have the firearms, don't apply for it. Similarly, with those who with the computer, the laptop, if you don't want it, then don't accept it.
Simple.
But you see what is even strange, Saeed? I am seeing now that the CCJ, the head of it now is retired, and he is calling on this government and still saying for us to acknowledge the CCJ as our final court of appeal. But why the hell didn't you and them with Keith Rowley and them was in government for 10 years? Why don't they then make a call on them to make the CCJ the final court of appeal? But you see, I will tell you something, Saeed. We, the UNC, and I am saying this, we have to stay with the CCJ because there were too much issues that the UNC took to the Privy Council, and one is the Chief Justice with the Master I.S. Caesar matter. Two, with Coleman Wood and the thing with the Auditor General. Three, with the Attorney General then, Reginald Armour. And then you had the other case with the Susan Martin, the Deputy Commissioner of Police and Water. All these are matters that was won by the Privy Council.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. I understand where you're coming from, but we're running out of time for tonight. So, viewers, former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has pushed back against what he called a campaign of misinformation, defending his administration handling of the UWI campus and the school building program. On a Facebook post, Dr. Rowley challenged recent public claims, particularly by Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, and accused the opposition of distorting historical facts. Regarding the UWI campus, Dr. Rowley said, the facility was developed without a sustainable funding plan. It became a financial burden during a time of economic contraction, when national revenue dropped from 50 billion to 38 billion between 2015 and 2019. He also criticized Persad-Bissessar for threatening to reclaim the campus and said, the challenging is funding. The Debe campus will compound by the COVID-19 pandemic between 2019 and 2022, which led the government to integrate the campus into a parallel health system response. Dr. Rowley also responded to claims that the PNM government had shut down the campus or the school building program, stating that his administration was forced to manage a 2.4 billion financial challenge. He criticized the opposition leader Imagine that, eh? Now, in this time now, he criticized the opposition, led by Penelope Beckles, for remaining silent on the issue. Penelope is not Keith, and that is what Keith didn't realize. So listen to Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this now. Eh? The U.S. consulate in TNT have stated that a temporary operational pause in application for U.S. student visa F1, M1, and J1 for TNT National is a short operational pause and does not signify a change in the U.S. student visa policy towards this country. This is according to the Ministry of Foreign and Curriculum Affairs. In a statement, the ministry said, there has been a direct communication with its U.S. counterpart locally. The minister says it understands the concerns and anxiety that this may arise among students and their families. However, it remains hopeful and anticipate a swift resolution with a return to normal processing of new students' visa application once the ongoing internal revenue or reviews by the U.S. authority is completed. So last week, Donald Trump administration made the announcement of abrupt suspension of application for foreign students with visa, sending local students who may be seeking to acquire student visa in the United States into a tailspin. So Trinidad and Tobago, I have been monitoring the US recently, and their growth has been dropping. Countries are pulling out from doing business with the US. Heads of government in different countries, different states, are thinking about condemning the use of US currency. All this have been happening in the world, and I am keeping up to date with it. Now, Trump suspended visa application for students. He said, go elsewhere. If you don't have one for the US, don't come to the US. Go elsewhere. That is a blow to Trinidad and Tobago. A serious blow to Trinidad and Tobago. Some of you might go to study medicine. Some might want to go to study law. And many different things. Some may want to go abroad to study to cook, to sew, to be creative, to learn something in the US that we don't have it down here. They just had a pause on that. And this is such a sad thing, because the dreams of many Trinbagonian students of having to go away in a university and study, they may or may not get it now. That is a dream many would like to fulfill. Now listen to this. It is the same thing as how Kamala is giving out the laptops to the school to give your child. And the parent is saying, you know what? My child don't need that. So Donald Trump shortened the dream of a student in Trinidad and Tobago wanting to study in the US. And it's the same way now our parents shorten the dream of their child with access to a laptop. And you don't have to pay for it, you're getting it free. So you see how the vice versa works? Trump killed the dreams of the students in Trinidad and Tobago wanting to study in the US. And the parents now stopping the dream of the child who is hearing everybody's getting a laptop and wants one too, to surf the internet, to learn how to go on Microsoft Word, how to go on Excel. how to create a video. The parents is shutting down that dream. So the stakeholders and the parents and the grandparents and the wider of Trinidad and Tobago who is complaining about Kamala administration giving out laptops, you are shattering your child's dream. As Donald Trump do to the students of Trinidad and Tobago, so you as a parent is doing to your child. It's sad, you know, but this is the reality we are facing today. And how do we fix that? How do we fix that as a parent? Do you want your child to be an educated person in society? I remember when Kamala gave out laptops in her tenure, there were restrictions. Laptops were built with specific restrictions. No matter what you do, you couldn't access certain things. And they knew that. They designed the laptop for that purpose. But we parents who are not educated want the same thing for our child. I don't know how to put on a laptop. You are my son now. I want my son now. Son, don't study that. If that can help you. My 13 years old son, for his birthday, I bought a Samsung phone for him, S24 or S25, one of the latest phone on the market for Samsung. And let me tell you something. That gave him a whole new access to creativity. Creating all sorts of graphics, learning, exploring. His intellect became, let me tell you, it widened. You know what I did? I opened a gateway to education for him through a phone. You know why? Because he could go on the internet. He could surf the internet. If he sees something he liked, he could download it. If he see a video, he could download it and try creating it. I opened a gateway for him. That is what I did at the age of 13. He have computers, he have laptop, he have tabs. He's only 13. I gave him that as a parent. You know why? I want him to learn about technology. That is what I did to him. I want him to learn about technology because we are going into the age of technology. In the US, in China, European countries, when you go to a store, you're no longer paying with cash. You're no longer swiping a card. But you know what you're doing? You're paying with your phone. You scan your phone and you pay. That is technology. So viewers, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, we're going to have more discussions in the coming week concerning the laptop and the education. So until then, good night.